From the Pro Wrestling Wire Net studios in beautiful Wallingford, Connecticut, this is Pro Wrestling Wire Radio with your host, Rick Del Santo.
Hello, everybody. This is Little Guido, and you're tuned into Pro Wrestling Wire.
All right, everybody. We've got Buck Brezner here, the American Giant. This is Rick Del Santo. You're listening to the Classic Wrestling Talk podcast. Buck, how are you today?
Good, sir. How about yourself?
I'm great. Thank you for taking your time to sit here and talk your wrestling career. I really appreciate you taking the hour, the time tonight.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let's get into your career and your youth, I guess. Were you into sports and stuff like that as a kid?
Yes, I was. Basically, I started to play basketball when I was a child, and I played for many years. I was in the middle school, elementary school level, and when I went to the junior high, and then the high school level, when I was a sophomore in high school, I got cut on the third cut on the JV squad, and that really devastated me wholeheartedly. And a lot of the guys and the coaches didn't agree with that decision. And so the next day when I went back to school, the wrestling coach at that time asked me if I want to wrestle for him, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" He says, "No." He goes, "I heard you like professional wrestling." I'm like, "How did you know that?" He goes, "The word's out on you, big man." And sure enough, to make a long story short, he went to Ithaca College with one of the broadcasters with back then World Wrestling Federation, and I asked him who it was. He was good friends with Gorilla Monsoon. And he said, when you see Gorilla down at the TV taping at the War Memorial tomorrow night, you tell him I said hello. And sure enough, the next day, he says, "I heard you talk to him." He goes, "Let's start you getting to the basics." He goes, "I'm going to get you to the leading of professional wrestling." I said, "I accept." And yeah, I've been an athlete since I was a little kid.
What year was that about?
That was back in 1987.
87.
And
great year.
Yep, back in 87. Oh yeah. But other than that, yeah, I started in 87, and one day when I finished out my junior year, when I went to my senior year, I went to a tournament one time and got a letter from a friend of mine who knew Mike Rotundo and his family. So I got a letter from Mike Rotundo. He found out about me and asked me to call this number that he gave me, and I called it. It was did a story of Dick Beyer out of Buffalo, and Dick found out a lot about me through. He found out about me through Rotundo, and he said he just retired, and he referred me to the great Professor Boris Malenko in Tampa, Florida, and that's how I got started. And it was a great journey, and it's a blessing. It's a blessed journey. So like I say, I'm here today, 33 years later, and still going at it and doing great.
I've interviewed a couple of Boris Malenko's students, including his son, Joe Malenko, as well, just a few months ago, and that was a fun interview to do. And what was your experience with training under the great Malenko?
He was a great trainer. He really cared about the student and a lot of talent. He gave me a lot of inspiration, and he gave me a lot of positive things to look forward to. He told me personally that he said, you have potential to step into the ring. If you give me your undivided attention, I can help you out with that. And so I took that, and before you know it, working under Boris, working under Dean and Jody, great guys, they're brothers, and I'm happy to be part of the Malenko family.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I interviewed Joe Malenko. I interviewed Bob Cook at one point. You're familiar with Bob, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great guy, funny guy as well. When was your first match, and what was that like? Were you nervous? And were you down in Florida training under him?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. And who else was in your class? Was there anybody else in your class like at that time period that I
Uh,
might
Glenn Jacobs
be aware
was.
of?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Glenn Jacobs was. Who else was there? The 1-2-3 kid just left there not too long before I started. You have Prince Ikea. He was in my class also. Um, the good thing about it, I also was trained by Glenn Jacobs, formerly known as Kane, and I tell you, it was a great experience working with him because he um, taught me a lot of things and a lot of different things as a guy. And he told me, he says, you may be 7 feet, and but when you wrestle in like a regular technical match, that's not for you. Go to the big guy style. That's for you. And he taught me a lot of things there. Ever since I've been doing very, very well with that. Absolutely. But yes, sir.
Right. Now you also were trained by now Dean was part of your training. Right? Dean was.
Yes. I was also trained by Dean. Dean was a great trainer as well, and he taught me a lot of tricks of the trade, so to speak, along with Joe. Joe, I can never thank enough of the Malenko brothers as well. And anytime anybody wanted me to refer somebody to the camp, it would be Boris Malenko. And Boris was, I call him the dad of professional wrestling. And he taught me a lot of great things, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Yeah, absolutely. I have a great experience. And when I first started my first match, I'll tell you one thing, brother, it was a great experience I had, and it just kept on going, be more perfected in how you're going to handle things in the ring. And before you know it, it's working out great. And to this day, I learn a lot of new things every day, even up to now. You learn new things all the time.
Right. Did he have anything to do with you ending up in WCW for the brief stint that you were in there?
No, they never did. How I got to the WCW, the promoter found me at the Bayfront Center and pulled me to the side, and he asked me if I had my gear with me. I said, yeah, I do. He says that the late Pistol Pez Wadley needs a tag team partner, and his partner couldn't make it in. I guess he had some other obligation or something. I don't know what it was. He asked me if I was willing to team up with Pistol Pez to wrestle the NWO Outsiders Hall of Nash. I said, yes, absolutely. I don't mind that one bit. And he says, okay, go get your gear on. You're going on Nitro in about an hour and a half. No problem. And I did that, and it was a great experience, even though I got beat by Kevin Nash. It was a great experience being there because you just don't know, you never know where you're going to be at that point in time. And after the match, Arn Anderson came up to me and Eric Bischoff. They said, you did a great job. We appreciate you, and you got a bright future ahead. Just keep up the great work. And I tell you, brother, WCW treated me far better than what the WWE would have been. And I had a really tough time with WWE. I even offered to work for them if they were short-handed of talent. That was, going under Vince McMahon, he is one guy that he was a character. I'll put it that way. But
yeah, well, I've heard many stories over the years.
Oh, I can tell you one, brother.
Stories, yeah.
But
go for it.
One time they were running Monday Night Raw. Was it Monday Night? Yeah, Monday Night Raw at the Sundome in Tampa. Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson came back in the back of the kayfabe area, the locker room area. Vince got out. He shook my hand, said hello, and I went up to him privately. I said, Vince, if you ever need an extra talent, I have my gear with me. I'd be willing to work for you. He slaps his hand away from me. He goes, get the F away from me. We don't deal with jabronis like you. Yeah, that's not a joke. I'm not. People think I'm making this stuff up, but it's not a make-up. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I just thought I'd help out. And a little while later, well, I say 45 minutes later, Chief J Strongbow and George the Animal Steel came to me and said, "Big guy, we want to talk to you for a minute. Rumor has it that you went to Vince." I say, "Yes, sir, I did." He says, "Number one, never go to Vince. Come to us. We're the bookers." And there's a lot of things going on here in the World Wrestling Federation. A lot of guys are leaving. And he told me like Hulk Hogan was leaving there. Macho Man Randy Savage was leaving there. Bret Hart apparently was leaving there at that point. Guess they were having big issues. And I didn't know about this at the time. And George Steele came up to me after that. He goes, "Big guy," he goes, "learn new things all the time. You're going to get there. Just learn." And I accepted that. And a short time later, the security told me up front that if he didn't leave the Sundome, they're going to have me arrested for trespassing. I said, "Well, okay, no problem. I'm leaving." So I asked him, I said, "Do you know where the Tampa Sportatorium is in Albany Avenue?" He goes, "Yeah. If I catch you guys there, I'm going to have my security team throw you guys out." So I said, he goes, "What do you mean by that?" "You don't mess with the wrestlers because you never know where you're going to get shot on." And I told him that straightforward. And, yeah, Vince McMahon is one character. I've heard a lot of stories about Vince. He's one guy that I totally lost respect for after a while. I used to like him when he was a commentator back in the 80s with Pat Patterson and all those guys. But he's a great businessman. He's smart, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to attitude, he's got the big head. And he had it because of Mr. McMahon. And, I was like, nope. I said, you don't be rude to the workers. You don't be rude to the fans. There's no need for that. So ever since then, I try to tell people, stay humble during your matches. Be thankful for your matches and work hard and have fun. And that's just the way it is. And that's one thing I believe in myself today. Go out there, be that big 7'3" giant, and just do the best you can with it. And that's what I do today. So, yep.
Absolutely. So, being down there in Florida, did you ever work for, was it Suncoast Championship Wrestling?
Never have. I tried to get on there at one point. I never heard back from them at all. It was a great organization. I wish I did. And I talked to the promoter of that at that time. He said that if he knew that I was still around, he would have brought me in immediately. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. But no, it didn't work out. But since then, I had to move out of Florida for personal reasons, and I'm now relocated in Kentucky. So, yeah, and
okay, yeah.
So, I got a lot of matches going on up here, and I'm very thankful for that. And it's just that
I mean, I guess in the early to mid 90s, the business was shifting a little bit. It was kind of getting away from like big guys such as yourself and, kind of going towards the guys like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart's size, stuff like that, It's like, what did you do to make yourself stand out during that time period?
I just kept on being persistent. Ever since Andre, John Studd, Blackjack Mulligan, all those guys passed away, I really, really thought about this hard. I was really praying about it hard, and I said, there's no reason why promoters should get rid of giants. There's no reason for that because, number one, in my opinion, it's a special attraction. And nowadays, from the 90s all the way up till now, they want to bring in smaller guys who weigh 130 pounds and make them world champions. That doesn't make no sense to me. It really, really doesn't. And I don't go for that. I disagree with it. And, basically I was told that I'm the only basic giant left on the independent scene. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But here I am at 56 years old today. I'm still going at it. I keep my body in great shape and just do what I need to do. And I had a couple of promoters mentioned that the
Yeah.
American Giant has limitations. That's why I'm not getting booked with them. I'm like, well, I said, first of all, Andre the Giant, I'm sure, has limitations during his matches with the WWF. There's certain things that he can do. There's certain things he cannot do. And I'm thinking, promoters today, and I'm going to make this very clear, don't insult the Giants, because you never know what they can do. Don't say that and try to make fun of them just because they wrestle slow. That I take my time in the ring. I'm not a half-ass butt wrestler or technical wrestler. I'm a 7'3" wrestler who wrestles at my speed, and that's what I had a lot of fans came up to me and say you're doing great with these guys, and we really appreciate that. And I said, thank you very much. I keep doing what I'm doing. It's just that simple. But
you seem to connect really well with the fans. You do like some convention. Do you hear me?
I do, very much so. I'm very blessed by them.
Like as I was saying, I'm gonna have to edit this whole thing. So as I was saying, you seem to connect a lot with the fans, and it seems like you do a lot of conventions and stuff like that. And how do you travel a lot for the convention stuff? I see that you're at Herb Simmons WrestleFest all the time. You work in SICW, the Illinois Championship Wrestling. What's your relationship like with Herb Simmons and going out there and doing the conventions and stuff?
Well, my relationship with Herb has just started. I was brought in under another organization, the SIW FanFest. I currently wrestle for an organization out of Illinois called Redneck Championship Wrestling. And the promoter asked me if I wanted to go to SICW FanFest. I said, sure. I said, not a problem. And I get along with the fans there. The meet and greet was great. Took a lot of pictures and fun. And I'm going to be honest with you about one thing, my friend. Last time I was there, I was asked by a lot of the guys, Jimmy Hart, Greg Valentine, and everybody else, am I going to be involved with the Blues of Broly Battle Royal? I said, nobody asked me to. And I said, I wish I would, but I was never asked. And before you know it, I got word back that one of the talent went to the booker and tried to request a match between me and Nikita Koloff's son. That was putting a shot down. I'm like, I don't know why, but I had my gear ready. I mean, 33 years in the business, and before you know it, Born to USA was playing. Everybody's looking at me. I'm like, I have no idea. I was ready to wrestle that night, but I was asked to. Nobody did, and a lot of the fans were looking at me. And I said, I have no idea, and that really disappointed me, broke my heart, because I felt I should be one of the guys who wrestled for SIW that night. That's my opinion, and the last words I got from them was they said that I had my limitations. And when I heard that, brother, that really broke my heart in half right there. SICW doesn't know what kind of career I had since I started way back. And there's a lot of guys today, I'm still getting booked all over, but I like Herb Simmons a lot. He's a great man. He's a great promoter. But when that came back to me, I was praying about that. I'm like, why would you not use a 7'4" giant just because he's slow? Andre the Giant, like I said, had limitations. John Studd had limitations. We all did.
Right.
And this is where I tell everybody else, don't try to insult the Giant. That's not right. That's my opinion. I'm going to stick to it, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing best and just go out there and do the best I can.
Absolutely. 100%. Talk about working. You worked Mick Foley in a 3-way, and then a month later, it looks like you worked him again, right? For Mid Florida Wrestling?
Oh, Mick Foley, yes. I did wrestle Mick Foley. There was a triple threat Yeah, triple threat match for the MIW heavyweight title, or MFW rather. And I beat both of them. I became the champion. Less than a month later, Nick Foley beat me for the title. He cheated his way out and took the boost to me. But, the fans are standing behind me all the way. Goes, no matter what, you are the real champion other than Nick Foley. And Nick Foley came out imitating Hulk Hogan at one point. I'm like, I'm thinking, are you serious?
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean these kids, are teenagers, they were giving him heat big time, and it was like, I'm here to wrestle you guys, and all of a sudden you're gonna come out here and insult a legend from the WWE? Really? That's nuts. So, and today, my friend, I just stand my ground. I just continue to do what I'm doing, and hopefully promoters will bring me back to future shows, and I never had any issues since then. But,
Right. Where's the weirdest place you've ever wrestled?
I'm sorry?
What's the weirdest place you ever wrestled?
Weirdest place? I'm going to say Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Okay. What made it weird?
There's a small guy. His name is Rick Brezner.
Okay.
And he put the world title on the line against me. And this guy, I'll put it to you this way. He's a good wrestler on the light side level, but when it comes to world title, he had no business being world champion. He doesn't know what it takes to be a world heavyweight champion and travel around like the legends do.
Right.
And one time, at one point, he tried to, on an interview after the match, he tried to insult me, say, well, he's a 110-pound thin stick or something like that. I took him to the corner. I laid it into him. I gave him several chops. He wore my chops for about 3 months. And, the fans loved that. The fans loved that. And, I was like, really? I mean, the guy I was counted out. I won by a count out. And ever since then, I cannot wrestle for that organization again. I mean, I got to have competition with experienced wrestlers.
Right.
It's just that simple.
No, it's fully understandable. Talk about, you worked on, what's it, GCW, Game Changer Championship Wrestling. Not my favorite organization in the world, but, I don't necessarily agree with their style. But you worked at Joey Janela's Spring Break. What do you think about their style and them doing a lot of the hardcore stuff and sometimes?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a hardcore person. I'm definitely not a hardcore person. Like I said before, I run in there and wrestle like a big giant. And I wrestled for them twice. I thought it was a good organization as long as you use the wrestlers in the correct way. Like I said, they have hardcore, they have midgets, they have ladies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right. It's how you utilize the wrestlers in the matches. That's what gets me. And hardcore, like I said, I'm totally against hardcore. There's no need for that. Why? Right. So you bust somebody up with light bulbs and all that? No. Yeah. That's nuts. But I just go in there, wrestle hard, and that's that. I like Game Changer Championship Wrestling in a way that benefits me and my matches, old school wise. And the promoter treated me very well. Joey Janela is a good guy. I talked to him several times and never had any issues with him. And very respectful. It depends. It depends what kind of matches they are. I mean, they're no different than anybody else.
Yeah. What do you think about the popularity of pro wrestling today and it just being everywhere? From now, I'm sure when you're only a few years older than me. So, growing up when we were kids, it was more territory based, and then it kind of, cable TV started to take it over, and then there wasn't nearly as much wrestling as there was now compared to when we were younger.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, my friend. Number one, I do not agree with what the WWE is doing today
Okay.
at all. I do not agree. Well, how can I say that? AEW, they have good talent. They bring back old school, but here's the thing that really gets me. And they do the old school matches, but they make it a comedy. And I was watching an interview one time with Greg the Hammer Valentine, and he mentioned that he does not like it because it's not the real old school like Greg was involved with Bob Backlund, Superfly, Snooker, and all them guys.
Right.
These guys are making it like a comedy. They're bringing in female wrestlers. Sorry about that, my light bulb went out. They bring in female wrestlers, using them as sex objects, which I'm totally against.
Yeah.
If you're going to use the ladies, use them professionally. Ladies with the ladies matches, men with the men's matches. And, the fans don't want to see that kind of stuff. They don't. A lot of people tell me that. And I watch independence now versus on TV. I mean, if I'm going to watch it on YouTube or something like that, it's because I'm watching the guys who I grew up and became friends with, like X and Smack Demolition, Mr. Perfect, and all these guys. They taught me a lot of things about the old school, and that's what I strictly am, old school. But to answer your question, AEW, NXT, I mean, they got great wrestlers. It's just how the promoters utilize the show and how they utilize the wrestler. That's the only thing about it.
And what do you think about WWE becoming so corporate and merging and just with was it Endeavor becoming TKO and then all this with the UFC and stuff, and just now they're just making money. They don't even have to put on a good product, and they're just gonna could still be making billions of dollars.
I disagree with that, and I'm going to tell you why.
Sure,
why would you want to charge $10 a ticket way back in the day, and all of a sudden you're charging $2,500 for a ringside seat? Very dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose fans if they keep on doing it that way. That I can guarantee.
I haven't been able to go to a show in probably 2 years because of the price that they're charging. Now, mind you, when I was growing up, I used to go to the old New Haven Coliseum, and I was only spending $10 a ticket, $15 at the most, probably, right? Where I was in New Haven Coliseum, and that was and I used to get pretty decent seats for that price. Now it's just, I mean, it's like you got to sell one of your kids to be able to get a ticket. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a money maker for them guys, and to me, they don't take professional wrestling into consideration or at heart.
No.
There's no way. I'm not buying it.
It's more entertainment and just BS. Right. I mean, granted, like there's some good moments inside their shows, and they have a great roster of people for the most part, but it's just there's a lot of BS going on. There.
I totally agree. Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's not fair to guys like guys that grew up watching them and stuff like that. They're alienating their core fans. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. I mean, if they're going to start doing that, today, that means you're not only making a bad rep for yourselves, you're trying to make a bad rep for the former and legends of the WWE or WCW. You're making fun of guys like Hogan, The Undertaker, the late Mr. Perfect, the Nasty Boys, and all those guys. Right. Man, I tell you what, to me that's dangerous. I really think that's dangerous, especially they're doing today as far as just making a money market, and they want to combine USF or something like that. No, I don't agree with that. Just keep it the way it used to be for the last several years. That's where the fans come in and want to see matches and storylines. Not no match where they got to go in there, flip flop in the ring, and all of a sudden you win a world title. 26 seconds later to a 120-pounder? Makes no sense whatsoever. And I kind of lost respect for Vince McMahon because I think he's the one that started it. Quite frankly, that's my opinion. They don't want to deal with the giants anymore. Big guys. It's like fans want to see big guys do special attractions,
Right.
especially between Kentucky and Florida, and they love that stuff. Anytime I step in the ring, I get a great ovation. And the first time, and I'll use this as another example, the first time I stepped in the ring with SICW, I had a 45-second match with a guy named Waco, and the fans popped on that. And the feedback I got, I don't know if this is true or not. They said that I was limited. That's why I'm not getting booked back again. And I was like, well, okay, what am I limited on? Just because it's a big guy, wrestling the way you used to be? Something's wrong there.
Yes.
And another thing that they got to do, and this is very important, you got to interact with the fans. If you don't interact with the fans, you get them involved, you're going to lose fans. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
But I always get the fans involved. I always shout the USA because that's coming from my heart. It's not just because of the gimmick. It's coming from my heart to get them involved, and they want to see wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, I go to a show because I want to watch wrestling, not because I want to watch a bunch of hokey stuff.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, and so with that. Of course, all that said, we talked about WWE and AEW and stuff like that. The independents are flourishing. They're like everywhere these days on TV and tons of streaming networks are featuring, and of course, YouTube. Everybody's got a TV show. I'm a part of a TV show that's on YouTube outside of podcasting. I'm a commentator for a show here in Connecticut on YouTube. So, what do you think about the independents? Like, there's so many of them in that. There's just independent wrestling is way bigger than it's ever been.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they're giving 110% to the fans. The promoters on the independent level, they're creating storylines that make sense. They're bringing in psychology, and I get matches from time to time with the independent. Not as many as I used to. And the reason why that part is they don't know how to wrestle giant.
Right.
For one. And number two, I'm sure they got scheduled matches throughout the year. And as a matter of fact, I got a call from a promoter up in Tennessee later on in November. He asked me if I was available on November 6th and 7th, I think it was. I said, yes, I am. And he goes, big guy, he goes, we're going to have you be in a tag team match. We want you to tag up with WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. I said, that's fine with me. I'll be honest. I talked to Tony quite a bit. I have not talked to him about this part yet, but the booker told me, he said, we want you to tag up with Tony Atlas. I said, it'd be a pleasure. Tony Atlas is definitely old school. He's a great, great man. I respect the man. And, so I'm looking forward to tagging up with Tony in a big, big way. And, him being a champion at 72 years old, God bless his soul.
Yep, he won the belt
he's doing great.
Yeah, he won the championship over at Tommy Fierro's ISPW.
Yes, I did hear that. I tried calling Tony to congratulate him, and I'm sure he's busy with other things going on. But great guy, very, very God-given gift, and I'm looking forward to tagging with him later on in the year. It's gonna be a great experience.
Yeah. What do you think about when you worked IWA Deep South? What was your impression of working there?
Deep South.
Yeah.
Same thing like everybody else. My match with them went fine. I never had any issues, and the promoter treated me very well. You're talking about Kevin Brandon's group, right?
I believe so. Yeah, this was 2020.
At first, I started that way, and now I choose not to wrestle for them anymore because there's some things that I totally disagree with.
Yeah.
That they're doing some things that I don't agree with, and I'm not comfortable with it.
It's the more hardcore style, right?
More hardcore stuff. They made me lose twice to another gentleman who doesn't even know how to wrestle. And I was like, when that part happened, I started to lose respect really quick on that, because that's not a professional show. If you're going to do that, I wish him the best with that. I mean, nothing but respect for him, but I don't wrestle for a corporation that acts like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. Let's talk about 2017. You had a couple matches with Bill Crude. You had a hair versus hair match and a loser wears a dress match. What do you remember about that rivalry?
Oh man, I tell you, Bill Crude started running his mouth all the time on the loser wears a dress match. He kept on blabbering. So one time there was a special stipulation because he kept on getting me disqualified for cheating. And the promoter down there goes, okay, I tell you what, we're going to have one more match. Loser wears a dress match. I beat him for that one. And I tell you what, man, he was so arrogant. He was so hesitant to put it on. They wouldn't even let him leave the ring until he puts the dress on. And when I walked out of there in Victoria, I walked back in there. I give him a big laugh and say, hey, you're going to deal with the guys now, not me. I'm done. I'm going back. So, and the hair versus hair match, there was one point where the match came to a draw. So the official says, okay, since this is the draw, you both get your head shaved. So we got our head shaved. It helped me quite a bit because I'll tell you one thing, it made me dry my hair quick. Dry my hair quick after. Well, yeah. But Bill Crude he's a former manager of mine. Part of the tag team called the Crude Alliance. Me and my former tag team partner, the run is that 6'8" Renegade, and Bill and I now since then are on speaking terms again. We reconciled our differences, and Bill Crude, he's a great manager. I can't take nothing away from him. And this is where I say a lot of things about all professional wrestlers. And it's just like when the late Superfly Snooker used to say, you better have respect for each and every individual professional wrestler. Now, I do have respect for them. But here's the problem. If I catch you cheating, I'm going to cut you off. That's simple.
Got you. Of course, you live in Kentucky, you said, right? Now, recently,
yes.
How long have you been in Kentucky?
I've been in Kentucky about 4 years now.
4 years? All right.
Yes,
so I guess recently, this year, excuse me,
mm-hmm.
Also classic wrestling in Richmond, Kentucky. You wrestled the guy Austin Medler.
Yes, I did.
What did you remember about that match, and how did you? How is this company as a company out in? It sounds like it'd be kind of a more old school style wrestling.
All Elite Wrestling is one of the finest companies in Kentucky. They are definitely old school. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for the promoter, and anytime I wrestle my match on there, they would always say, "Do what you got to do. This is how it's going to go." The promoter treated me very well. He said, I will be back in the future. And they're one of the finest organizations in Kentucky. And I have a lot of respect for them. When it comes to Austin Medler, Austin Medler ran his mouth at one point. He said, okay, I see a bunch of smelly Richmond, Kentucky idiots who don't know how to take a shower. Took a bar of soap because if you need to take a shower, there's one down the street. Here's a bar of soap for you. And before you know it, he goes around and says, okay, there's nobody bigger, stronger, or heavier than me can beat me. And when my music hit, I came out, he was scared when I walked in the ring. He was totally scared. And I grabbed the mic. I said, first of all, Austin, I got a question for you. Do you know who my stepdad was before he passed away in professional wrestling? He says, no. My stepdad used to be Andre the Giant. And the people popped on that big time. I said, by the way, how many people here in Richmond want me to kick his butt out of this ring tonight and send him to the garbage can behind the building? Yeah, they popped on that one. So we had the match. I choke slammed them for the 1, 2, 3, got them out, and that was the end of that. Good, quick 8-minute match. And they all loved it. They all loved it. They said, well, you finally shut him up. I said, you're right. You caused problems. I would take care of the situation.
Is there a match or moment that you feel the fans should go back and look at for if they want to understand and check out Buck Brezner? Excuse me.
Yes, there's one specific match. I'm glad you brought that up, my friend. One specific match that I keep on trying to get booked here today, but no promoters will touch it. USA versus Cuba. The American Giant versus the Cuban Assassin from Havana, Cuba. Fidel Sierra. Like I said, Fidel Sierra, he's very well respected by me. Him and his manager, Fantasy. They've been around for a long time. A lot of respect for them, over 40 years plus. The only thing I do not like about the Cuban Assassin is when he cheats in the ring to get the win. And if there's any promoters out there today who hears me on this podcast tonight, I'm serious. Let's get this match signed somewhere. USA versus Cuba. Let's get this done. And you never know what can happen today. And when I retire sometime, I want that to be one of my last great matches I have with Cuban. And again, he's very well respected. And the only thing I got a problem with him is cheating. Now, obviously, he doesn't like the USA, but my job is to defend the USA and wrestle in a hard, right way. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's just the way it is.
What are some of your favorite opponents that you've had over the years?
The Cuban Assassins won. The genius Lanny Poffo, I wrestled him. Nasty Ned Brady.
Is that guy around anymore? Or where is he?
He's retired. He's no longer in the business, but he's retired. Him and I are great friends now.
Okay.
C.D. Offie, the cousin of Superfly Snuka. I wrestled him a couple of occasions. The Nasty Boys. I had a match with them at one point. And let's see who else was there. Ricky Santana, Jumbo Beretta, Dr. G out of Tampa, Florida, from the NWA. I've worked with all the top guys in the business, and we all had. It was great matches, and a lot of them are retired. Rather, God bless them. But I'm looking for new blood to wrestle even today. And if there's any wrestlers out there who wants to take on the American Giant, hey, let's get this match signed, because I'll be ready for you anytime, anywhere, and anywhere.
Yeah, we got a lot of great talent up in Connecticut. Maybe you got to make your way up here.
Yes, that'd be great. I heard there's a lot of great talent out there. I'd be more than willing to come. All they gotta do is make the phone call to me, and let's talk about it. Let's get it done.
Absolutely. Let's see. You got any good road stories?
I'm sorry?
You got any good road stories from being?
Oh yes, I do. I got two of them, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
One time, before I broke into the business, I was born and raised in Syracuse, New York. The WWF came to the War Memorial one night, and I got out of college, wanted to go see the matches. After the matches, I went to the restaurant with the Nasty Boys, the Iron Sheik, and the Undertaker. Iron Sheik was sitting on my right, Undertaker was on my left, and the Nasty Boys were sitting in front of me. Undertaker passed me on my shoulder. He goes, "Hey, big guy, go over to the Iron Sheik and tell him you're going to stretch him from here back to Iran and see what he says." I said, "I'm not going to disrespect the Iron Sheik for that." He goes, No. He'll love the rip. They tell him you're going to stretch his spoon like a camel. You're going to make him humble. I said, if I get in trouble for this, I'm going to get you. I turned around and I said, Sheiky baby. He goes, yes. He goes, yes, sir. I'm going to stretch you from here back to Iran, from here back to Iran, you Iranian freak. He drops his stone, doesn't have any. God bless him. He puts me in a headlock. And Nasty Boy now sat there and hit me across the head. He goes, what's the matter with you? All right, he goes, who told you to tell me that? I go, the Undertaker did. Undertaker turns around. He goes, I did not tell you to tell him that. Yeah, I told you if you told him that, you're gonna get yourself stretched. Oh my God! Here we go. So later on that night, we went back to the Holiday Inn where they stayed at. This one little kid gets on top of the dresser, super flies off the dresser onto me. I lost my balance, sat on the Undertaker's hat.
Oh.
He goes, Big Guy, you sat on my hat. I got to wear this on TV tomorrow night. Popped it back out. I said, that's what you get for getting me in trouble with Sheiky. And he was like, oh my God. I said, you're right. You got yourself revenge on you. And you got your receipt right there, brother. It was funny. It was a good, all fun rib. And there was another time while I was wrestling in high school. I got a message. Hey, Buck, there's a professional wrestler out here. I said, are you kidding me? He goes, no, I'm serious. He's out the door. He wants to meet you. I'm like, who are you talking about? He works for the WWF. He's an enhanced talent with the WWF. They call him Gino Carabello.
Yes.
I said, Gino's here? He goes, yeah. Gino comes in. I'm like, holy crap. So Gino and I started our friendship right there. And he came over to my house, met my parents one night, talking about the business. And Gino was one of the nicest guys I ever met. He's a great, great guy. And he was like, well, at some point, if we can get a show going on, I want to train you and get you on here. I said, that's great. So, Gino, I'll tell you one thing, brother. Great memories with him. With a lot of laughs. I haven't seen him over several years. And somehow I found him on Facebook. I go, Mr. TV himself. He goes, what's up? I go, do you remember who I am? You met me about 25, 30 years ago back in Syracuse when I was in high school. He remembered it very well. At first he was like, who are you? I told him my picture. Oh my God, that's Bucky. And ever since then, we kept in touch. And I tell you one thing, Gino's one of the nicest guys. And I'm glad we're great friends today. And I still talk to him periodically. And great guy, good-hearted soul. Love the guy, Jerry. I mean, he's great.
Let's send a thank you out to Gino because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
That's right. He told me that. That's right. He told me about your podcast. I said, yeah. I said, I'll be more than happy to talk about these things. That's not a problem there.
Awesome. Buck, I want to say thank you for dropping by, and I'd love to have you again sometime.
Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you throw out where fans could be able to find you on the social media or wherever?
Well, you can find me on Facebook. It's under the American Giant Buck Brezner. I got my cover pages with Action Smash at Demolition, and my photocopy is on with the Power of the Pain. Guys, if you are wanting to bring in a 7'4", 350-pound athlete from Syracuse, please message me. I'll be more than happy to talk with you about wrestling for your organization, no matter where it is or out in the United States. I'll be more than happy to come. Private message me there. I do conventions. I do matches. I'll be more than happy to come and wrestle for your organization at any given time. Please give me a shout.